Hi, I'm Steph. I'm a VTuber and an artist. ArtFight season is just right around the corner. For those who have no idea what that is, ArtFight is an annual art game which begins every July. Every participant has like a library of characters or OCs that they can showcase. It is called ArtFight because you fight or attack people by drawing their characters, and vice versa. So it's like an art trade of sorts, but it's more specialized for OCs rather than popular media characters. Every year, ArtFight creates two teams, and this year's teams are Team Fossils and Team Crystals. I chose Crystals because of the aesthetic. It looks cute, okay? Anyway, it's about a week before ArtFight begins, but by the time this video posts, it probably already did. So to prepare myself for the event, I decided to dedicate this week for relearning anatomy for 7 days. I made a schedule for myself to practice certain anatomy per day and also gesture drawings. You will see them in a moment. So let us not delay any further. Let us begin relearning anatomy! On day 1, I did some gesture drawings with my current knowledge of anatomy. Each photo honestly took me around 2 to 3 minutes, which is pretty good for like my current, I don't know, style. But I still have to play around with my sketching or just try practicing each part of the body. From the legs to the hands, but especially the torso, because that is probably like the foundation of the body, at least from what I understand. I don't know why it was so difficult to search for reference photos when they're just literally all over the internet. It took me like a few minutes just to find one reference picture, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, throughout the next few days, I hope that I can eventually find my style. By the way, if you guys want to know my ArtFight account, here it is. I'll just be linking it in the description below. My profile is space inspired. It even has a cosmos map that I made. The names of the planets are all made up though. The gist of my story that my characters are in is that they are a crew who goes around and helps citizens from various planets across the cosmos. On day 2, I tried focusing more on the head and some expressions because I haven't really gotten a chance to practice facial expressions at all. I was really surprised to see how different each face looked. Partly because the references image that I used were people of different ages. It's not the best, yeah, but the expressions really change how a character looks. It's making me want to practice more of that. I did another set, but this time, I set the timer to 1 minute because I thought it was really fun. I'm gonna be real honest here, some of these came a bit wonky. But then again, it's just a loose sketch, so I'm not really expecting it to be the most perfecto, but you know what? At least it's better than I expected. For 1 minute, it's pretty good, at least in my eyes. I just gotta make this a habit, which is probably gonna be a lot harder than I thought. I was supposed to follow like an art calendar where every day I do gesture poses, but there have been days where I've been very busy and I couldn't get the time to do gesture poses. But now that I'm on a vacation, I'll make sure to do it because I just need it, okay? I need to get the fundamentals down. For days 3 and 4, I worked on the torso, which I considered as the body's foundation earlier in the video. I tried experimenting with methods like the box method, the beanbag method, etc. I do think that any method works, whichever works with the artist, but there are circumstances where certain methods are especially in handy. For instance, the box method works for poses involving perspective, and the beanbag for, I don't know, regular use. I learned that from someone, but I forgot who. It was someone in YouTube I was trying to scroll. Anyway, it was about time that I actually learned the torso. I was supposed to draw only the torso and the arms, but accidentally, on day 4, I drew the legs. But that's alright, because what matters to me is that I'm able to learn anatomy. It helps me practice either way, on how the torso attaches to the arms and legs. On days 5 and 6, I focused on the one thing about anatomy that I loathe. Hands. My worst enemy. Although, when I did create my reference sheets for ArtFight, I noticed an improvement in my hand gestures since I used references for them. But it was also about time that I draw hands through muscle memory. Knowing that I might draw hands a lot during ArtFight, especially if I'm putting a character in a certain pose, I focused on this part of anatomy the most. Oh my goodness, this was where I really had to lock in. I can confidently say that this was the most challenging part of the entire relearning anatomy process. I almost forgot to practice drawing hands on day 4, so I ended up doing it at literally midnight. The day afterward, I may have forgotten to hit the record button when I did one set, which is probably why you'll see a set of hands just frozen during the time lapse. Well, anyways, unlike the previous parts of the body, this was where I had to practice a few times a day because, like I said a while ago, I'm likely gonna struggle with hands a lot, so I just had to practice. And finally, on day 7, with my practice in gesture drawing and all that I had learned in the previous days, I created an artwork. And to up the ante, I used no references. You heard me. I did not use any references throughout the creation of this artwork, except for my character. The character is an exception. I am not used to not using references, but I wanted to try. At least try, you know? I wish I could use someone's OC on ArtFight. However, it is stated that you are not allowed to draw other people's characters before the event. So I decided to use my own. The character I'm drawing is named Raito, constellation code Mare Stellarum. He is the protagonist in my lineup. A wanderer of an unknown world who lost his memories over time. He was preserved in an unknown mineral and taken aboard the Yugen starship. As he goes on adventures with this crew, he hopes to find remnants of his past and his memories. He was actually the first character I made among the 7 OCs on my lineup. You may check my ArtFight profile to see the rest of them. And if you plan to draw any of them, please feel free to. I really would love to see my characters in your style. I had no plan whatsoever on what type of artwork I was doing, so what I came up with was really on the spot. I depicted Raito sitting on top of a wall and the sunset sky has stars slowly appearing as the night approaches. To make it even prettier, I added a shooting star and a bit of constellations. This is honestly one of my favorite artworks of all time. I just love drawing starry skies for some reason. Plus, it makes sense for Raito as he loves stargazing, looking at the stars and pondering when he'll uncover his past. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Now, I gotta go prep for ArtFight, so I'll see ya in the next one. Take care and bye bye!